hip, fingers digging in just hard enough to make her gasp. My brand of trouble is so good it hurts. You want to hurt a little tonight, baby? A blast of desire ricocheted through her system. She felt stripped bare, unsuited for a public place. The raucous conversations taking place in the bar had faded into background noise, Hildebrand ceasing to exist around her. Troy frequently had this effect on her mind and body, leaving her struggling to contain her composure. The only thing that's going to hurt is your ego when I beat you. His laughter against her neck was filled with dark promises. I think we know who's going to win in the end. She swallowed hard. You're very confident. Yeah, I am. Do you know why? Troy pressed his hips close. She could feel his substantial erection, thick against her behind. I have what makes you moan. What's going to make those thighs open wide? I've got it right here, and you're fucking dying for it. He backed away, and a whimper escaped Ruby before she could stop it. Your break, hustler. What do I get if I win? Ruby asked with forced nonchalance, even as her pulse kicked into high gear. Watching Troy play pool always turned her on to a stunning degree. He'd never let on until recently exactly what an accomplished player he was. That is what made her so hot. He didn't need to brag, nor did he pout like most men inevitably did when she won, which happened to be the majority of the time. No, Troy took his victories elsewhere. Ruby broke the rack, but divested of her concentration, sunk none of the balls. She narrowed her eyes at Troy's smirk as he approached the table. He stopped in front of her, chalking his cue slowly. When he set the blue cube aside, his stormy blue gaze found hers, voice dropping to a whisper. If you win, I'll stop tonight when you beg me to. Ruby inhaled shakily, resisting the urge to press a hand to her tightened belly. And if you win? Troy laughed under his breath. I don't stop. We go another round, harder, so much fucking harder than the first one. He leaned in and ran his lips up the side of her neck, scraped his teeth against her heated flesh on the way back down. How does that sound? Ruby was forced to lean her weight onto the pool cue in her hand when her legs would no longer support her. I need to know exactly what harder entails before I agree to the bet. The temptation to hear more proved too much. Ruby suspected the more she pushed, the longer he would make her wait for satisfaction, but then curiosity had always been her downfall. I deal in specifics. I don't appreciate being questioned, Troy murmured against her ear. But I'll make an exception since we're getting to know each other. He moved to block her view of the bar. Gripping the front waistband of her jeans, he twisted it hard in his fist. Denim, already snug against her center, squeezed tight around that incredibly sensitive part of her until she gasped. Suddenly, release loomed so close, she knew if she moved her hips in either direction, she'd come right where she stood in a bar full of people. A sensual, knowing smile played on his lips. You want specifics? Fine. I'm going to fuck you in the shower. The neighbors can't hear you scream quite as loudly in there. I'm going to nail you over and over against the wall until you can't think or stand or speak. He twisted the denim even tighter, and Ruby moaned into his shoulder. Then I'm going to go down on you, lick the spot I just satisfied, pick you up, and do it all over again. Troy released her waistband, and Ruby slumped against the stool beside her. He maintained eye contact with her as he bent over the table and sunk a solid in the side pocket. As she watched, pulse jackhammering in her ears, Troy cleared the table of every ball except for hers before knocking in the 8. Get your jacket. Ruby tossed her jacket onto the kitchen table, watching warily as Troy did the same. On the ride from Brooklyn back to Manhattan, he hadn't spoken to her once, communicating instead.